My staff has given me one thing to think about. I can't get distracted. Otherwise, it's going to be just a cognitive decline nightmare all over Air Force One. And that's a gross cleanup. I don't know if you know. It's pretty messy. So I'm going to wrap with this. I've talked many times about the signals and signs that we get from Donald Trump that aren't overt. They're not direct. He's not saying, hey, I'm feeling really insecure about my cognition right now, so you guys need to pay attention to me. He's not saying, I'm very concerned about how people are viewing my presidency, so this is the thing that's on my mind. He doesn't do that. What he does do is signal what he's insecure about, what he's weak in his brain about, by what he talks about. Whether it be in the Oval Office, talking about how he took the MOCA, the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, and how he aced it, and how every doctor, whoever administers the test, they've never seen a perfect score before. In fact, what are his, let me go back to exactly what the quote was. It's so ridiculous. He said this is from my 3 p.m. video. He said, I also did a cognitive exam, which is always very risky. Is it really risky, Donald Trump? Here, I'll just play that portion of this clip to give you the flavor of what I'm talking about.
I also did a cognitive exam, which is always very risky because if I didn't do well, you'd be the first to be blaring it, and I had a perfect score.
It's not an IQ test. It's a test to recognize dementia. It's a test that's given to people who are at risk of Alzheimer's or some other memory disease, or in the throes of it, to make an assessment about how bad it's gotten for them. It's not to tell how smart you are. You don't ace this test, right? So how would it be risky? If I were to say, I would love to take a cognitive exam, this particular cognitive exam, but it'd be really risky. I wouldn't say that, because I also would do very well on the test because I don't have memory issues, right? So Donald Trump, when he's feeling insecure, talks about the issue, really drones on about it. And it's exactly what he did yesterday, except it's not about his memory that he's whining about on Air Force One. It's about the thing that he's got implanted in his brain. It's the only thing he can focus on. The White House staff has set his attention to peace talks, he's on his way to Israel. And he goes off on this rant about all the millions of lives that he saved, all of the wars that he solved. No, he didn't end the wars. He didn't help negotiate an end to the conflict. He solved the wars. And it starts off kind of how you would expect, and then it just ramps up into crazier and crazier and crazier and more cognitive diminishment. It's scary. It's scary for us as an electorate, as citizens of this country who only have only one president, unless you count the shadow president, Stephen Miller. There's only one guy. And if this is it, we got a lot of problems, even more than we have without Donald Trump being addled. Watch him, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
Both of your elections, the biggest issues were the economy and immigration. Now you're getting credit from Democrats and Republicans for this Middle East peace deal. Where does it fit? Where do you think it fits into your legacy?
Well, look, this will be my 8th war that I've solved. And I hear there's a war now going between Pakistan and Afghanistan. I said, I'll have to wait till I get back. I'm doing another one because I'm good at solving wars. I'm good at making peace. And it's an honor to do it. I saved millions of lives. Millions of lives. Now, in all fairness to the Nobel Committee, it was for 2024. And this was picked for 2024. But there are those that say you could make an exception because a lot of things happened during 25 that are done and complete and great. But I did this not for Nobel. I did this for saving lives. I mean, we've saved millions of lives. Think about India, Pakistan. Think about some of the wars that were going on for years. We had one going for 31, one going for 32, one going for 37 years, with millions of people being killed in every country. And I got every one of those done for the most part, within a day. It's pretty good.
One of the world leaders, sir, that you've
What do you think you can take from these negotiations and this peace process into Moscow and try to end the Russia-Ukraine
Well, I think what you can take is that never give up. Just never give up. You know, last week they killed over 7,000 soldiers, mostly soldiers, and a little bit more, frankly, Russian soldiers than Ukraine soldiers last week. But think of it, every week they're losing from 5,000 to 7,000 soldiers. It's ridiculous. And I thought that would be one of my easier ones. I mean, when you settle something that's been going on for 31 and 32 years, that's, in theory, a lot harder than setting, something that's been going on for 3 years. But this is a war going on for 3 years, should have never started. Frankly, I give Ukraine credit for doing so well. I mean, they're good fighters. They're very good fighters. I really think that President Putin would look great if he got this settled. And I think he's going to settle it, but we're going to see.
He solved 8 wars. But now there's a new one on the horizon. Not only did he solve the India-Pakistan war, all-out war, there was no all-out war. He's also now, maybe he's going to have to get back and start on this next one with Pakistan and Afghanistan. Apparently, Pakistan's just champing at the bit to be in war. They want to give Donald Trump the opportunity to shine and solve his wars. He's good at solving wars, he says. He's good at peace. And then proceeds into all of the excuses as to why he didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize. Well, that was for 2024. Obviously, I would have won it if it was now. Next year, he's a shoo-in, apparently, to win the Nobel Peace Prize. And all of these things were solved within a day. This signals, and it should signal to you, but this certainly signals to me that this is the thing that Donald Trump is most insecure about. He's also, they set his attention to it, and he has to be laser focused on one thing. In this moment, several different reporters tried to ask him questions, and he got pissy. He got testy. He got grumpy because don't distract me from my focus, from this one thing that I have to focus on. My staff has given me one thing to think about. I can't get distracted. Otherwise, it's going to be just a cognitive decline nightmare all over Air Force One. And that's a gross cleanup. I don't know if you know. It's pretty messy. Anyway, we're in a very tough spot in the United States. Listen, if you're out there in a non-United States country, if you're in Great Britain or Australia or France or some other nation, if you're in Japan, which I'll be there this week, by the way, we'll talk about that more tomorrow. But I'd love to hear from you about what your opinion, and when you as an outsider look in and see this, what are you thinking? I think it's important to get kind of a survey of what different nations feel and what they're hearing from their local media, from their domestic media about the situation in the United States. Let's do that in the comments. In fact, I think that would be fantastic. So other viewers they don't have access to my voicemail. They'll be able to see what people in foreign countries other than the United States, what they have to say, what they're seeing, what they're hearing, what they're reading about what the situation on the ground is, or in this case, in the air. Anyway, I'd love to know. Do that in the comments. If you have something else to share, you can share it on my voicemail line, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. I will humbly ask you, if you have $2 a month, you want to help support this work, you want to help me reach the millions of people that I do, helping spread truth, helping spread awareness about the situation in our country. You can do so by clicking the join button below this video on YouTube to become a channel member, or go over to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. That's not just for the podcast. It absolutely supports this work here on YouTube, on Facebook, the show, Dollemore Daily. Anyway, I love and appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. Be genuine and take care of one another.